Super Rugby Unlocked the latest round. What round are we up to? Round 5. I think so. I usually go Friday games, Saturday games, but this is a combined video. The Friday games with the Sharks and the Cheetahs, and the Saturday games with the Griquas Stormers and the Lions Bulls. I am wearing the Cheetahs gear. Thank you to Herrit Man for giving me this jersey. It is a size smaller than I usually wear, but I am still able to fit it. So it is very, very nice to have a Cheetahs jersey in the collection, and I think it's the only orange jersey I own. So finding it is pretty easy compared to any of the black jerseys, of which there are more. Anyway, we'll start with this first game, the Sharks and the Cheetahs. Now, the Cheetahs haven't played for a while. That draw there that I've put on the board is that game they had against the Lions, which was postponed initially due to some COVID cases in the Lions camp. They have now cancelled that game, so the Lions have got a draw as well. Disappointing, but that's just the state of things now, and they reckon there was just no spot to get that game played. So that is what it is. The Cheetahs are still undefeated. They will take on the Sharks in Durban on Friday, 7 o'clock, which is 7 o'clock in the morning over here in New Zealand. But yeah, the Cheetahs have looked good, man. 2 wins from 2 in games they've actually played. But they haven't played for a couple of weeks, so there may be a little bit of rust. And remember, Rampina is out for the season after being injured in that last game they actually played. So we will see how things go. The Sharks have been a bit of a mixed bag. It's hard to see where that Sharks team pre-lockdown is, but they've had a lot of injuries, so it is a bit of a tough one. Yeah, both the teams, Oxen Che, Daniel Joost, and John Hubert Meyer. That's the front row. I think that's the same as last week. Luan de Bruin, Reinhard Fenter, and Charles Maria line up for the Cheetahs, so that'll be a good battle to see who can get on top there. The only changes, I think, for the Sharks from last week, Jeremy Ward comes into the midfield. So there's no Lucanio I haven't read that he's injured. He may be, but he may also just be being rested. Your Pinkler comes in on one wing, so Nkosi is also out of the match day 23. Libok still at fullback. Tumbwe is still there. Bosch, Nohamba, Dylan Richardson's a flanker again rather than a hooker. Butalesi, thank you. Somebody mentioned the pronunciation of his name is a T rather than a Th. I appreciate that, man. I try to get the pronunciation right as much as I can. But yeah, overall, man, aside from pronunciation talk, the Sharks team, Hyron Andrews, has been pretty bloody good at line-out time continuing. So he'll have a good battle up against the Sharks fellas. Pokomela is still there for the Cheetahs, and he's I think, the number one Cheetahs guy. Like, I went into this Super Rugby Unlocked season saying, look, I haven't watched Pro 14 much. I don't know that much about the Cheetahs guys, and he was the main guy that everybody talked up. And seemingly with pretty good reason, man. He's been a pretty good unit. He's got a hell of a work rate. Small Smith is getting a start this week. He's alongside Frans Steen. Blommer Keys is at fullback. Malcolm Yars on one wing. Roscoe Speckman, who's looked pretty good since his move from the Bulls, is on the other wing. Interestingly, Jandre Rudolph, who's just transferred from the Pumas, is playing the Sharks, I believe, 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, because he's just signed for them. So he's looked the business. He's on the bench for the Cheetahs this week. Loose forward, he's been playing number 8 for the Pumas. I'm pretty sure it was the Pumas. Yeah, it's been a lot of new players for me in recent times, and he's had a kind of barnstorming time of it. I hope it wasn't the Griquas. Those are the 2 newest teams for me, and virtually all, not all, but a lot of new players, basically. So, but yeah, from what I've seen of him, he's been playing number 8, and he's a hell of a player, man. Very dynamic ball carrier. Sikimbo's Noche, speaking of dynamic number 8s, as he's there on the bench. Werner Koch is on the bench for the Sharks as well. The Sharks are 2 wins and a loss. They are 3rd. The Cheetahs are 2nd, as I said, undefeated, but having that one game cancelled. The Sharks, interestingly, go into this one as favourites. 2 points with the bookies and 14 points with the Rugby Forecast algorithm. Remember, the algorithm looks back at previous head-to-head results, home and away. So maybe it doesn't quite take into account the form that the Cheetahs have been in. but you never know how things are going to go. So we'll see. You guys let me know your thoughts on that one and how you think it may pan out. The next one, Griquas and Stormers. Both sides that could use a win. The Griquas are winless as yet. They are bottom of the barrel, 7th spot, none from 3. The Stormers had kind of 2 gets out of jail, like 2 not 100% performances where they got wins. And then last week they got taken to task by the Bulls. And that game was maybe fortunately called off. But actually I think the best period of play for the Stormers was right when the game actually got called off. So we'll see how they're able to bounce back. They have made a few changes. The Griquas likewise have also made a few changes. Verity is still there at fullback. And he's probably been one of the best looking players from the Griquas. He still looks legit dangerous. I hope they can hang on to him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets offered a contract elsewhere. Interestingly, Bjorn Basson is on one of the wings. He comes into the starting lineup. Zach Berger's also been pretty good, the number 9, so I look forward to seeing more of him. He's been pretty impressive. It seems the Springboks, well, the South Africans are pretty stock full of number 9s, to be fair. De Beer comes in at 10, so there's no Whitehead, I believe. Kasende is on the bench. Mkoli is one of the props. Van der Vesthuizen is on the other one. So yeah, it's a bit of a changed lineup for the Griquas, to be honest. The Stormers likewise have benched Franz Malherba, so he's on the bench. Fushi is the guy who gets the start. Mbonambi and Kitsoff are still there. Morat drops to the bench, so Mayhazen, pronunciation maybe not the best there. He's alongside Schickerling in the second row. I think most of the sides are the same. Devet comes in at number 9. I didn't see Herschel Yankees in the lineup. Angelo Davids comes in for Zas. Otherwise, still Dan Duplessis, still Rikas Pretorius, Edville van der Merwe, Augustus. A bit of chopping and changing, but not like kind of wholesale changes for the Stormers after, as I said, what was not their best effort last week. That being said, they do go into this one as big time favourites, and maybe playing the bottom team is a good chance for them to bounce back. By 11 points is what the bookies say, and by 5 points is what the Rugby Forecast algorithm says. By all accounts, Griqualand seems like a pretty tough place to travel away. So we'll see what the Griquas can make of that. It's all been new to me, as I said. I've been still learning, especially about the Pumas at Griquas, but enjoying pretty much every moment of that. And the last one is the Lions and the Bulls. Both teams who had good previous weeks, although the Bulls are first. They're having the best run of everybody. The Lions are 4th. They've had a win, that cancelled game, which is the draw, and they've had 2 losses. So they came back with a bang last week, a big win over the Pumas to bounce back. They needed that because they'd been just losing games, whereas the Bulls maybe started a bit disappointing, but actually seemed to really hit their straps last week and unleashed on the Stormers. The sides seem pretty stable, to be honest. Like the the Lions have got the same front row: Sadi, Vasaki, Sitole, Ruben Skuman, Ori, Chituka, Masain, Pelsa. It's like the same forward pack. They have brought in Odendal into the midfield, so Creel is onto the bench. Similani is still there, and that guy has been, like, people have been calling for him, and then he gets like a start, and he just lights the game up. So, like, sometimes the fans call for a player, and maybe that's just fans being fans, but that one seemed to be a legit good call. Skorsan, Lombard, and Pina are still the back 3. So minimal changes likewise for the Bulls. Steenkamp comes in for Nokia in the second row. Otherwise, it seems to be the same team. David Creel, Travis Ishmael, Stimachans, Juana Hendricks, Van Sale continues at 9. So Papia continues to ride the pine. Mornay, last week, Mornay Stain had maybe his best attack performance I've ever seen from the 6-year-old. Famulin, Jenkins, Nyakane has been a monster at scrum time, so it's great to see that guy fit and firing. Manus Schoolman is on the bench, like I mentioned, Nebros Papia. Van Staden for the Bulls has also been in phenomenal form in that that loose forward trio. The Bulls are favourites, 5 points according to the bookies. The Lions are favourites by 1 according to the algorithm. That game is on at 7 o'clock local time, which makes it a 6 a.m. kickoff. This one I think was 4:30 over in South Africa, which makes it a 3:30 a.m. kickoff. So in all likelihood, I'll watch this one live. I'll probably watch this one live, and I'll watch this one delayed. But yeah, we will see how things go this weekend. I kind of had to rush through the prep for these vids. So anything I've missed, do let me know. I had a busy day at work, so getting the team's information quickly before I finish work, left me in a bit of a rush. But yeah, you guys do let me know your thoughts on the teams. How do you see these guys going? Are you picking the Bulls as the favourites, the Stormers, and potentially the Sharks? Or do you think the Cheetahs, despite having 2 weeks off, will kind of continue that form that they showed prior to their lockdown? Jeez, that word's just too much in the vocab recently. Prior to their bye and their game, which got called off. Anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.